Right, so a few questions from the members, and the first one is from Jason Lippett, and we did touch on a little bit about your plans for the marathon and what next, but he did ask if there is any other sport ideas, so you're going to get involved in anything else other than running. Is a ultra marathon on the, on the agenda? And why do you even run at all? Because you're a fit lad, you've been playing football for years. Why bother punishing yourself more?
Yeah, I know. I think just on the first one, other sports. I was quite sporty as a kid, but I think the in thing at the moment is paddle. I think I might look to try and find a little paddle arena. I know there's one being built in Sheffield because one of my colleagues at work, he's bought into it. So I think he said 12 weeks. So watch that space for a bit of paddle. Looks fun. Ultra marathon, I get the marathon out of the way first, I think. But now I follow, obviously, like you'll follow all the different kind of social media runners, and yeah, it does. It looks fun, but it don't look fun at the same time. I'd love to do it just to test, my own mental grit and determination. I've got no doubt I'd be able to finish it, but. Yeah, we'll park that for a few years, and after football we'll have a look at maybe doing an ultra. These
guys are badass, Like I've done a lot of men myself. Never done an ultra. I'm thinking about doing it next year. But I spoke to a guy who's done multiple Ironman. He does some really, really tough courses, and he says the ultras are the hardest thing. Yeah. So it's just food for thought when you get ready for it. And yeah, the last part of the question: why bother at all? Because you're a fit lad. You're training every day.
Yeah, I think. Kind of my why is obviously for yourself, but for my kids, for my family. I don't want to be, as I get older, not be able to get down on the floor and play with my kids, grandkids in the future. I want to be active, They want to get out in the garden, play football. Daddy, can we do this? Daddy, can we ride our bikes? Can I jump on your back? And I think part of running and being fit and general fitness allows you them moments without realising it. Do you know what I mean? So that's probably my why in terms of running and mental health as well, and just being in a, everyone talks about the runner's high. I don't know about you, when I get back, even after running a 5k on a Wednesday morning, I get back, the breakfast, the eggs are in the pan and the breakfast is there.
Absolutely.
And the kids are still in bed, so yeah, I think the benefit from that as well, and just being in that space. Have a bit of time for yourself during your runs, and think about life and think about different ideas and things, and no better time or place to do it than when you're running.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, there's an obvious passion there for you. Whenever I speak to you about it, and we had like a 5-minute conversation about training, I thought this guy really likes running. What's your favourite trainer, by the way?
Yeah, I've always been, not so much just running trainers, but like trainers, like you don't want to know how many pairs of shoes I've got.
How many have you got?
Yeah, you won't be able to count. I've tried my best to slim it down, and they just come back, with a vengeance. So, running trainers, I quite like and I say Saucony's, but I've just realised it's Saucony's. I watched a video that they put out. Yeah, so they went round asking everybody how you pronounce it. So it's Saucony.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I'll still say Saucony's. So quite like the new endorphins that they brought out, the kind of pros and the elite ones, and I've not tried the speed ones yet. But the Nike Alpha Flies, obviously everybody's wearing them at the moment. Stand out, bright colours, and I'm normally an Adidas man, to be fair, football boots wise, but I do like the Adizero Pros. I know what's the ones above that they're all wearing at the minute?
I'm not sure, because I'm just Nike all the way.
Yeah, I think they're kind of always against each other, aren't they? And I think Adidas are boasting the most world records in these new Evo Pro, I don't know what they call them. So try and get my hands on a pair of them in the next few weeks if I can.
Pumas, I know we're digressing a little. Pumas go out nowhere as well. Puma, like I see a lot of people in Pumas, but I don't see many of the pros in it.
Yeah.
I see a lot of them in the Alpha Flies.
That's a telltale sign, I think.
Yeah, and New Balance as well. I had a pair that ripped my feet to pieces, so like once bitten, twice a shy and all that, so I've never really gone back for it.
Yeah.
So this one's a really good question. It's from my good wife, actually, and just going on to a point we may have just touched on slightly, but what would you say to somebody who is new to running and worried that they would be too slow and hold up everybody else?
Yeah, we have touched on it briefly, but for people that feel they're too slow or they're new to running, it's a perfect running club for you then, I think. Like you've touched on, we have probably 3 or 4 groups that have started to kind of form as part of the running club. Like we touched on before, no one gets left behind. If you need to stop at any point, there's absolutely no pressure to even walk, and just build your fitness that way. And we have the familiar routes, which it's a good way of seeing how far you've come. If you come over 4 or 5 weeks, and if you want to come down and try and better your times, you can do that as well. So I think, yeah.
Absolutely, I second that as well, just with my experience. We'll try and rattle through a few. What drills would Liam recommend to an inspiring runner? What do you do before training? I assume this means before you run training.
Yeah, so I think just a general warm-up, dynamic stuff, A skips, B skips, all that kind of, that's what we do in football. That's all I know really. Just making sure your major muscles are warm and loose and ready for the distance. If you're feeling any kind of tightness, spend more time on that area. My main ones are obviously hamstrings, calves before I go out on a run. Sometimes obviously give the quads a good stretch as well. But more so after, and getting them recovery elements in, recovery boots, ice baths, which I just don't like. It's too cold.
Oh my God! Right.
I prefer
get ready.
I prefer jacuzzi or a steam room or a sauna. So
you don't like ice baths?
Heat all the way for me.
You don't like ice baths?
No.
Right. Just hold that for till the end. So James Smith has asked a few questions we've already gone over, but one. When I said ask one question, I've got a list here. But he said if you could change anything that you've done, what would it be? I think he is referring to the running club.
Yeah.
Because it has gone quite well, So we're not at a stage where we think, oh, I should have done that. But just based on your journey so far, what did you change?
Yeah, there's always little things where you think, oh, could have done this. I think the routes have been quite good. There's one that's probably a bit too short, which when I've mapped it out, depending on where you cross the road and where you run, you have to go to the end and back. So probably look at refining those. But I think you need them little bits of, things, not so much going wrong, but the things you do better, and it's just use them as a learning curve, really. But yeah, like you said, we've not had too many at the moment, thankfully. So yeah, just keep going as we are and getting better each week as we go.
Yeah, fantastic. There's a few. There is a little bit of we've touched on some of this, but this is from Laurence, and she's asking. More or less, when you're struggling, how do you get through hard times? When you're training and you hit a bit of a block, or you're doing your half marathons around Rother Valley, and you think, I'm 8 miles in, I don't want to do this anymore. How do you get over that psychologically? Yeah,
I think in the present moment, is just kind of putting one foot in front of the other. I know it's easier said than done, and knowing that kind of thought or that time will pass. I think as long as you've got your fueling right and things like that, and you know that gel's going to kick in soon or whatever it might be. I also think if you need to stop, just stop. And it's not an end of the world. You just regain your breath, regain your focus, and go again. It don't mean you've failed. It just means you need a breather in that moment. I also think with the kind of preparation aspect and the kind of mental side is just being ready for them tough moments. It's not all going to be plain sailing. Success is never linear. There's always ups and downs in football, in running, and in life. So it's no different really. Can't expect every race or every run that you set off to be perfect. You might have a certain niggle, or you just don't want to do it that day, and that's fine as long as you keep going and just keep trying to be better next time.
Yeah, it's a great answer, and I feel exactly the same. People think when I go out and do training runs, I just do it all the way through, but sometimes I stop, a bit of cry. Sometimes. Yeah. A lot towards the end of the marathon training. I take photos, and I try and take in. I listen to podcast music, just try and mix it up a little bit. Yeah. Sometimes flip between it. The last part of this question is it weird when somebody is talking to them, they don't realise you're a professional footballer? Do you find that weird, or is it?
Yeah, I think we touched on that recently. I think when we come down to run club especially, and there's people that haven't got a clue that I play football, I find it really refreshing and something that, a bit of a relief really, that they don't want to ask, are we going to do this, are you going to, and what's he like, and what's this, and you're halfway through an interview before you know it.
Yeah.
I think just keeping it kind of surface level, and what do you do? I play football. What do you do? I do X, Y, and Z, and just having that engagement for the first time can be quite like I say, refreshing for me. And yeah, something that I quite enjoyed, to be honest, because sometimes I just can't be bothered talking about football.
I know, I try and put things into perspective for myself. Somebody were asking me about EV chargers all the time. You know, like you find yourself saying the same things, and yeah, I couldn't understand that. Yeah. And you did say that to me off camera as well, so I firmly believe it. Jessica Copeland,
yeah,
one of my favourite ever people. she inspires me. I hope she knows this. You've done so many different runs, races, marathons, but which one would you say you enjoy the most in terms of route, atmosphere, location, and which would you recommend to others? That's the first part of the question.
Yeah, so not quite done the marathon yet. I've done, obviously, the half marathon, Retford. I think I'd recommend that to people. I enjoyed it, not for the fact that I kind of knew the route as well, which in my mind helped. I knew when I could take a breather. I knew when the hills were coming. I had that experience of, you know, this bit's going to be tough, or this bit's, there's going to be a crowd here, or there's not there. So I could mentally prepare for them barriers. So Retford half, having done that, my first and only ever half, I think, yeah, I would recommend that. It was well organised. And yeah, obviously I've got nothing to compare it to just yet, and report back after the marathon when I come to finish it.
It might be your own event. That might be your new favourite.
Yeah.
So we'll go into a little bit more detail about the event as well before we consolidate and finish. But she's also asked, what are your favourite snack while running?
Yeah.
Snack.
Yeah. So for me, I'm a big sweet man. So I think apart from my gels and my obvious fueling choices for the marathon, there'll be a little packet of Percy Pigs in there.
Oh, do you like them from Marks and Sparks?
So I like they're ones that I enjoy. So yeah, they'll put 4 or 5 in my vest for the way around.
I think we need to mention that the bags are getting smaller and there's not as many in there as there used to be.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Or is that because we're getting bigger? I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah, my hands are getting bigger. Chris Ward, and you might scratch your head with this one. First question, I suppose, have you heard of High Rocks before? I
have, yeah. I've heard of it, I've seen it.
This guy is Mr. High Rocks, by the way.
Yeah.
So he's an age group winner. He's a badass. He's in really good shape. He's a League 2 referee, so you might have come across him in the past. I think he runs the line, but he wants to know if it's on your, in your pipeline.
I did see that question on the group actually, and I know a few people that's training for it. And I'll be honest, rower I'm not too bad. That ski erg thing, what they do. When Howard gets me on that next door, I'm like, hoping he goes out of the room so I can just chuck it down, because I find that really tough. And again, it's a different way of training. I like to do a lot more just running about stuff really, but with a ball, so it doesn't seem as kind of taxing for me, because that's what I'm used to doing. When you take the ball away and you're pushing sleds and things, it's hard. It's not my idea of fun.
When you push the sled and you try and run, I mean, I do brick sessions regular on the bike. It's that times a million. It's horrendous. It's like you're running through treacle.
Yeah. Yeah. So the answer to that, Chris, would be it's not on my agenda just yet. Or if it is, it's quite low down.
Top answer. So Lisa Ripley is a big Sheffield Wednesday fan, right? Yeah. And she has asked a similar question, but I wanted to mention her because she mentioned you being Mr. Consistent at work, day to day. What is the key to being consistent nowadays? Yeah,
I think it's just really and truly not looking too far ahead of what's to come, and just being in that. Speak a lot about being in the present moment, so much at work, but in life as well. Pull up from work, park on the drive, and conscious effort to show up for the kids, regardless of if you had a good day, bad day. Just be present in that moment, and I think that helps. And also seeing the value in the small things day to day, and ultimately just like to use the term doubling up the penny, and eventually compounding your efforts will lead to greater things in the future.
Is it hard though? This is an extension to the question from Ara. If you've gone back, you've not had a great day in the office. You might have lost, and kids can't wait to see you. Is it hard to just change that mindset? Yeah, and it's something that I'm still working on now. Something that I used to be terrible at, to be fair. Something that, because you're so passionate about obviously my job, and you want to win, you want to do well, and when things have not gone your way, like we spoke earlier, it's never
kind of smooth sailing. It's just about, and kind of use it the opposite now. When I come home, I can switch off. I can leave my kind of worries at the door and show up for them and be the best kind of dad and energetic and you know, fun-loving kind of parent that I can be, regardless of what's happening kind of externally. It's about keeping, and I love to go home and just, they take my mind off the stresses of what I'm doing day to day.
Yeah, and the people I have spoke to always describe you as a family man, which must be good, you know, because like you've achieved so much, but family, everything starts at home, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Paul Jeffrey said he's heard there's a limit to how much running footballers can do outside of the training pitch. Is this true?
Not that I'm aware of. And a few people's asked me, how does the club feel about you doing X, Y and Z, but I just think there's a lot worse things you could be doing in your spare time, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
to
definitely.
mention a few, going out and doing whatever, nightclubs and all that stuff. I think, you know, a 5k before training is not the end of the world. So as long as it's in kind of proportion to my training week and my load, everything's monitored at the club. So we wear a GPS vest every day. They know exactly how much you've kind of effort you've put in that week. If you've played, obviously it's going to be a lot higher than the ones that haven't. The ones that haven't played have to do a lot more training that week, and it's all very much to keep you on a level playing field. So for example, if you're not playing, you're kind of on a similar fitness level to the ones that are. So when you get a chance, you're ready then to step straight in. So yeah, the sports scientists that we have are fantastic, and they make sure we're well fueled and, like you say, well kind of trained and well rested as well. So yeah. I think just the mix of the three. A lot of people forget about the rest element.
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
You don't know that word, but no, I think for me it's important to not completely rest like you say, you know, but just lowering that load and listening to your body and going from there really. Yeah,
I've got a bit of a reputation. It's probably a bad one. And from a coach, I don't say do what I do. I never say that. I think on the latest podcast, I said it's sort of like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Would I be better? Would I be fast? Absolutely, with rest. Would I feel better from a mental health point of view? Probably not. So it's a balance. This is the last question, and it is about the running club, but also more focused around the event. And it's basically comparing if you was about the feelings of the event being a massive success to scoring a goal at Hillsborough.
Yeah, it's a completely different feeling. I think that the scoring a goal is something that's very prideful for yourself, and in that moment there's no better feeling on earth. You know, scored a few weeks ago, luckily, and as you're walking back to take the kick-off, 30,000 people singing your song and your name, which is something that's, it's a bit of I'd describe it as an out-of-body experience, you know what I mean? So there's that element, but then to see an event hopefully come together and be successful. We've had a lot of work behind the scenes with, you know, getting marshals and getting insurance and all the boring stuff that nobody really is bothered about. They only see the numbers that turn up, and yeah, I just hope that it's a big success and we can have it as a yearly thing, and hopefully it grows and gets bigger and better.
Do you think you'll get that buzz like you did at that Hillsborough, like you're saying? It's like an out body, you know, when you get, I don't know, realistically 300, 400 people there and they're all cross the line, everyone's happy, smiling.
Yeah, I think I'd go back as well to the Retford Half. It's only a small event, what was it, just over 1,000 runners, but actually being in that start line was I enjoyed that buzz as well. So yeah, something new, something different, and yeah, I think when it's kind of your name above the door, you'll feel the same with YTP, that you just want everything to go as good as possible. But I also think it's important to remember that there might be things that you can do better and not to beat yourself up about it too much.
Yeah, absolutely. I can completely relate with that, and I'm sure it'll be a massive success. You know, we're looking forward to it. So I have one question, right? So because you have got a base level of fitness, you know, you're running good, and from me watching what you can do and your times and stuff, I think you'll be a really good level, especially when you retire, you've got a bit more time. But if you've got to pick between England or Scotland in the athletics team, who are you going with? We know they play football.
I've seen, yeah, obviously, I don't know if it's the same I qualified through football. My mum was born there, so I don't know if that's the same kind of to represent Scotland or England. I'd just be buzzing to have that option, to be honest. I'm going to sit firmly on the fence on that. But I've seen some of the times that they can run and the qualifying times, and I honestly don't know if I would be able to get to that level. Obviously, as you get older, you get the different age groups for certain races. So one thing that I do want to do, which one of the questions earlier, is do all the 6 major marathons. I know the Boston one's quite tough before you can even, at the qualifying time, before you can even apply. So
that's actually the one I'm going to. It's 3:05 this year, so I'm going to apply for it.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So I think that would be my longer term goal. But I've got a lot of football left in me just yet, and it's obviously still top of my to-do list. I want to get, and we spoke about the numbers that I've got there, the 334 appearances, and I want to get to the top of that list if I'm being honest. So fingers crossed I'm afforded that opportunity between now and the time that I hang the boots up.
Yeah, and we're all rooting for you as well. We know you're going to get to it. And what would that mean to you then if you got the number one? Because it's you and Barry Bannon who's pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's obviously the current teammate of mine, captain as well. I think I never really thought of it as achievable really until you see your name come into the top 20 and then your top 15, and now I'm top 10, top 8. And you think, it's just another few seasons, it's just this, it's just kind of reinvigorating that kind of fire, and people say, how do you keep going at one place for so long? But it's just refreshing that kind of need and want to keep going and fueling that fire, and that's another thing that I want to climb that leaderboard. Same you'll find with different events and running, you see names and you see positions and you just want to climb and get better, and that's the same as
Yeah, well, I looked at the park run, most wins, and I'm the same, I'm like obsessing about the numbers and stuff like that, but like you said, it's all in perspective, and we are rooting for you to get there. So, there is a fitness challenge. We've got a bit of a tradition here at YTP, and I'm glad you mentioned it.
When your ears pricked up at that ice bath comment, I knew I'd put my foot in it there.
Would you film yourself in an ice bath for at least 2 minutes or something? You can do a short video, but would you do it for us?
We've got a recovery tub at the training ground, you'll be pleased to know. So the guys there, the fitness, the physios and the sports scientists will tell you that I very rarely go in it. But we've got a week to get that done, so I'm sure I'll be able to do a couple of minutes.
That's brilliant, we appreciate it, but we look forward to seeing it as well. And I was I'm not falling off the chair here. I'm so excited. When you said that you didn't like it, like my ears did prick up a bit, and I don't like it either.
To be fair, I like the fact that it's something that I find a discomfort. It's good to put yourself through things that you don't want to do sometimes.
Do you appreciate the benefits from it though? Yeah,
I can see the kind of supporting science behind it. I know there's still arguments to whether it actually does help. I think it definitely does. We've also got a cryotherapy chamber at the club as well, which is like it's ridiculous levels of cold. You have to have woolly hat, gloves, long socks, slippers, just so it don't give you freeze burns. And I think done consistently, same with anything, it can definitely have benefits, but if you're just doing it every once in a while, I don't think it has too much bearing, to be honest.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing that. And I'm exactly the same, so no open water swimming for you then with the group?
To be fair, I need a swimming coach because I would love to do a triathlon. I looked at the Rother Valley one, that's in off-season. I can swim, but I'm just not a very confident swimmer to do any kind of real length. I'd much prefer the bike and the run side of it, so I might just have to do a little duel.
Well, you're looking at a coach. This is my sales pitch.
I might have to pencil you in for that and work on a bit of technique and breathing. Yeah,
so for a few final words regarding the running club, so let's just talk about, let's just consolidate it. So when is it, what time, who is it for, and just a bit of an appeal so we can get some more people.
This is your sign to join a running club. Come and join Diet Starts Monday Running Club every Wednesday at 6 a.m. down at 365 Functional Fitness in Worksop. It's a real inclusive running club, and we are powered by YTP Facebook group. All the routes and things are put on there. on the WhatsApp group, and yeah, regardless of ability, age, come down and run as part of a group with like-minded people, and also we've got a bit of coffee and I want to say cake then, not cake just yet.
And a lot of fun.
And a lot of fun, yeah. So you won't regret it. Set your alarm, get up early. If that's not something that you normally do, give yourself a little personal challenge of coming down once and you won't regret it.
Fantastic. Well, I would like to thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure. I am honoured that it's your first podcast as well.
Done.
So this will be our number 4. We're going to work on trying to get one out every week podcast. So on the schedule for this week, we've got the 6 p.m. run, which is it changes location, so I release a schedule on a Sunday night. But more importantly, we've got the Wednesday AM, 6 a.m. at Creative Village run. So get yourself on there. And yeah, thanks for your time. Cheers, and good luck with getting that appearance record as well.
Cheers,
thanks
mate.
a lot.
Nice. Cheers, pal. Thank you very much.
Oh.
And cut.